Good day guys, it is Sunday around the early afternoon, and maybe you are wondering what am I doing here in the middle of nothing on this road. But let me explain. You know that I really like the southern part of Bulgarian seaside, and I usually come in the regions of Rezovo and Sinemorets. I have shown you last year some interesting clips from there. But this year I decided to come here a little bit earlier. It is still technically the end of May. It will be June tomorrow. And I want to show you a bit different site with much more greenery than the usual. So this weekend I will have some interesting places to visit. First of it is a city called Rezovo, which is located right on the Turkish border. I have not shown you videos from there yet. So let me have a little bit of walk of around 2 to 3 hours, and after that I will show you how this place looks. Well guys, we just reached the Silly Star beach. This is not exactly the beach, but is the place on the road where you go to the beach itself. This is around 5 kilometers from Sinemorets, and we reach it in around 1 hour and 5 minutes, something like that. I will show you the beach, but maybe it will be a bit later when we are getting back. We will see. This part is an interesting, guys, because this is the so-called third border area. During the communist rule of Bulgaria between 1945 and 1990, this border was very heavily fortified because Turkey was part of NATO and we were part of the Warsaw Treaty, and also because some people were trying to escape to Western Europe through the Turkey border. So currently, as you can see, it is free. You can go here without any problem, but this wasn't the case around 35 years ago. So guys, we reached it. This is the entrance of the village of Rezovo. Here it's not too interesting. You can see the Strandzha Mountain. This region is not so high. We are close to the sea after all. You have some houses, and when I reach the border I will show you the more interesting parts of this village. While we are walking in Rezovo, we by the way found a store with a beer, but this is another topic. I found this very interesting structure. This is, I don't know how to clarify it. The architecture is very strange for a house, but yeah, obviously some kind of futuristic house. And this is how the streets of the village itself look. By the way, the village is not so small. Many people think that here you have just 5 houses or something like that, but this is not the case. I will also show you the region near the border and the border with Turkey. So overall, the place is pleasant, very calm. You have store, you have restaurant. If you are okay to travel to reach this place, it may be even better for vacation if you like calm places. This is the municipality building where the mayor is, and here you can also see some information about the village, where it is, in the most southeastern part of the country. You have a bit of history. That's good. I don't think that this was here a few years ago when I was last in this location, but it is good. You also have some ground place for the kids to play. You can see it coming. You have an old church, And in a bit you will also see the border itself, which is pretty interesting. But before that, on the left side, this is a very good restaurant. I have been here a few years ago and I'm happy that it is still working. Their fish soup is very good. It is called Restaurant Panorama. Maybe we will see what it offers. I'm not sure if we will have the time, but let's see. This is the old church, and now you will see the border, which is pretty interesting because the border itself is the river here, the so-called Rezovska river. And here you can see very big flags, one Bulgarian on our side and one Turkish on their side. This is the, if you can call it, the beach of Rezovo. It is very small. On the Turkish side you have a huge beach, but there is practically nobody there. Generally this part of Turkey is with very low amount of people and very underdeveloped compared with the other part of the country. So maybe this is the reason why there is no border crossing point here, simply because there is not enough traffic to justify it. So guys, this is the closest part to the border where we can get. This place works during the summer, but for now it is still closed because it is 31st of May. We have an old boat here. We have a view towards the, I can call it a beach, but it is very small. But technically you can have a sunbath here. Here is our flag. And now I'm gonna show you the river itself, which is the border. I think that these flags were erected relatively lately, in the last few years. Here is our part, Republic of Bulgaria, the most southeastern point of European Union in continental Europe. Technically it is very well. And here is the river itself. You can see these concrete structures here, which are remnant from the Cold War. The purpose of this is to prevent boats from crossing and getting easily to our part of the border. You can see some fishing boats, and this is in fact the border, this river. It is, I don't know, maybe no more than 5 meters, so it is pretty easy to have a bridge here if needed, but obviously there is not enough interest to support such structure and such border crossing. Maybe in the future there will be. Well guys, after all we decided to sit in the Panorama restaurant. I want to show you the fish soup. Here is how it looks. You can see that it is with big pieces of fish and it is very delicious. I highly recommend testing it if you come here. Good day guys, and welcome from the Butamjata beach in Sinemorets. Unfortunately I couldn't show you the other beach that I wanted, City Star, because when we were coming back from Rezovo the weather got worse and it started raining, so we couldn't afford to lose more time and needed to get back to Sinemorets. Well, yeah, last year I have shoot video here in Sinemorets. I showed you the most interesting places, so now I will try to show you what are the changes from the last year, because there are some. First, I'm starting with the end of the Butamjata beach. Here is the river that doesn't flow directly into the sea, but it comes pretty close to it. It is a very interesting ecosystem because it is a combination between sweet and salty water with the specific species of animals and plants that grow in such environments. And it is also very green, which is because it is now late May, early June, something like that. So let me get also to the bars and restaurants at the beach to show you what is working and what is still not working. So the first thing that you can see compared with the last year is that the paid zone is a little bit bigger. The umbrellas weren't coming up to here last year. They were a bit smaller in area. Here is the free zone. As you can see, it is still pretty big. But here is the beginning of the paid zone, and there are some interesting changes here. Let me show this to you. They have obviously some kind of new system which uses application, a so-called My Spot application, via which you can reserve the spot and pay for it, which is pretty good because you don't need to have cash with you. Unlike all previous years, you can directly pay with your phone, or at least it is supposed to work like that. I'm not exactly sure how it is working, but obviously the season already started here, because this is set up and ready, expecting the people to come. This bar there, which you can see, I think it is ready, but maybe it will open the next weekend. But it looks pretty well prepared already. And also the second bar in front of us is already working. There are even some people there. The Hotel Bella Vista that you see in the distance is also working. When I'm coming back to my accommodation, I will show you that it also works. Here is the second beach bar, the Butterfly. It is open. There is some music playing. There are even some people inside. So obviously this part is open. And here is the second part of the paid zone, with some pretty interesting art installation. I am almost 100% sure that this wasn't here last year. Obviously it is something new, specifically built for this season. And here we have the oldest and most iconic restaurant here at the beach, which is called the Crippled Jellyfish, with this famous writing on it, which I am not going to translate. It is also open, it is working, so obviously at least here on the beach the season had already started, which is impressive. I personally expected to not have too many open places before the middle of June, but obviously this is not the case. And here is the second free zone, right at the beginning of the beach. This usually gets very crowded during the active parts of the season, but as you can see now, there is almost nobody. Only some fishermen are fishing, and that's about it. So guys, the exploration of Sinemorets continues. The craft ice cream is working, the store for craft ice cream. And as you can see, the big supermarket, which is working only during the summer season, have already opened, and it is now rebranded as a tea market, which is generally brand located in Sofia, but they also have presence in other cities. And what I can tell you is that it is much better loaded with different goods, and also the prices are much better than before, when It was some kind of a smaller store. Here you can see another bar which is working. This is generally a place where you can eat and drink. They have some fish-based dishes. Here is the other one, restaurant Trastikite, which is also working. The pharmacy is obviously working. This store, I think it is also only seasonal. Currently it is closed, but I think that it is in general open also. The Hotel Caterini, is also open. So you can see that despite being pretty early, end of May, beginning of June, many venues are in fact open. The souvenir shop on the left is also open. Yes, there are also some closed properties like these pancakes here. They are obviously not open yet. These pancakes on the left also still not open. But overall, the amount of places which are already working is pretty impressive. Let's check also what else is open. On the left you can see Horizont, which is very famous local place to eat. It is a store which is working all year around. You can see it on the left. And right next to it is the restaurant Horizont, or Horizon if we should translate it, which is also open. There are some people eating. So let's check what else we have. We are now closing in on the bus station region. Obviously this place, Zudin, if it is pronounced like this, is not working. But the Albatross here is open. It looks like a very fancy place to eat. In fact, I have been here, but it was a long time ago, so maybe we will check it next weekend. Here, this place is now closed because it is only for breakfast, but it is generally open, so even for breakfast you don't have any problems. This place is called the Sinemorska Srešta, or the Sinemorets meeting. It is also open, some people are dining here. Generally this is the region of the bus station. It is not, there is no place where you can buy tickets, just the buses stop here in this region. So that's why it is called like that. On the left we even have some Döner kebab which is operating, and pretty interesting, right in front of us you can see a place with craft beers. It is the only place in Sinemorets where you can buy craft beers, and it is surprisingly for me also open. I really didn't expect that, but today I won't have the possibility to drink craft beers, unfortunately, so maybe the next weekend I will also show you this place and what it offers. So let me get to a bit far parts of the city where there are other 2 or 3 places that we need to check. Here we have other places which seems to be either operating or pretty ready to open. The Clock Pub and also the Vreme za tep music bar, which can be translated like time for you. Overall, the amount of places which were newly opened in the recent years in Sinemorets is pretty impressive because the village is really small, or maybe we should say was really small. And now, in fact, you can find more places which are open here compared with bigger cities like Ahtopu and like Rezovo. In fact, Rezovo is not bigger, it is maybe around the same size, but you saw that there is almost nothing working there, unlike here. So obviously this village is becoming more and more popular during the recent years. We are now closing in on the Veleka river side of the village. This place also seems to be at least prepared to open because the fridges are already loaded with beer and other drinks and are working. This is one of the sides of the village which is pretty fast expanding because there is a lot of place between the Veleka river and the old borders of the city. As you can see, these houses here are pretty new, most of them, and you can also see a very beautiful sunset. So let me get you to some kind of viewpoint towards the Veleka river, which I will reach in a few minutes. And I think that you will like very much the view from there. The beach of the Veleka river is also very interesting place. I showed it to you last year in my video from Sinemorets, and I will also try to show it again now because it should look pretty different with all this green grass and most probably the absence of open bars there, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But unfortunately today I won't be able to do that, so next weekend this is another thing that I will check and will show this. That's what I wanted to show you. As you can see, these are new houses which are built. These are currently the last houses of the village, and in the distance you can see the beautiful sunset and also the beach of the Veleka river, or at least you can partially see it because we are not close enough. And as you can see here, the municipality did a pretty good job making a very beautiful place with cut grass where you can walk, and they also have installed some pretty impressive big benches made from massive wood. Let me get a bit closer to show this to you. You can see how massive is this wood, how thick it is. Overall, this was not present, I think, last year. I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, it is pretty well done and in very good shape. So let me try to zoom a bit to show you the beach with my phone. I'm not sure how well this will work, but let's try. I will later add it to the big video. I think that now you should be able to see the beach much better, and as far as I see, the bars are not operating yet. But anyway, the beach itself is very beautiful, so I will surely show it to you, but it will be next weekend. And the last thing that I want to show you here is this very good bar on the right, which is called Bar Koraba, or Bar the Ship if we can translate it directly. This place is the best bar in Sinemorets, and I am really pleasantly surprised that it is already working. I will definitely visit it next weekend, but today I simply can't do that. I don't have the time. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. I think that it is the right time to finalize this video. I think that I showed you how the city developed during the last year. And next weekend I will continue with part 2 of the region, with some more footage from Sinemorets and also with some footage from Ahtopol also. So stay tuned.